if I told you how much more time you would have to do the things that you want to do in your life instead of just having to do all the things that you have to do by doing a digital detox, I'm not sure you would believe me. I honestly have been really surprised myself. Last year, I made a decision to create space in my life. Space so that I could find more time for relaxing and taking care of myself, more time for fun, and more time for deeply connecting with people. And at that point, my digital home was a mess. Even the thought of getting it organized was overwhelming to me. But I did have a hunch that if I took the time to make it happen, that it was going to free up a lot of time in my life. And it really has. It didn't happen overnight, and there are still projects that I'm working on with respect to this, but it is so much better than it used to be, and I am so much more efficient as a result. It can also honestly go a very long way for reducing your stress. I mean, if you think about it, how much time do you find yourself looking for things in your digital home? I used to spend so much time looking for things, and this would often make me feel anxious and annoyed, quite frankly. I really just hated wasting that time. Now, this is gonna sound a little weird, but your digital footprint takes up space in your life, somewhat like the things that you own take up space in your life. And it feels to me like there's an actual energy to these things. Think about the difference of how you feel when you're in a cluttered, disorganized room versus how you feel after that room has been neatly organized and given a really good deep cleaning. As you may notice, these energetic differences, they don't only impact how you feel, but they impact your physical health as well, with respect to that stress thing. So it seems to me like this happens in your digital home too. So if you clean it up and declutter it, it really does feel like a breath of fresh air. So today, I'm going to invite you into my digital home to see the steps that I've taken to declutter and to offer you some suggestions based on what I did so that you too can get the benefit of more time and less stress by using some or all of these strategies. So before we dive in with where to start with all this, I just want to give a really quick introduction just in case you are new here to my channel. I am Julie Barlow, the creator of the J&B Living Journals, and I'm the lead motivator in the Art of Intentional Living community online. And I am someone who fully believes that you have what it takes to create a wildly happy and fulfilling life. So if you are tired of feeling like you're just going through the motions, lacking fulfillment, and feeling like there must be more to life, but you aren't really sure where to start, you are in the right place. Feels like I'm talking to you? Be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any future videos that may be really helpful to you as well. So it feels like since we spend a good amount and a good portion of our non-working hours and time, that happens on our phones, why don't we go ahead and start there? So when you open up my phone, here is the first view that you see. And you may notice that there's not a whole lot going on. And that's because I limit it to the things that I pretty much use every day. Now you'll see I do have one grouping of related items, that photos and videos here on the front page, because I do use that a lot. And a lot of groupings on the second page here, food and communication,
also my social networking and finance related apps. So I love to put these in groups because that makes them much easier to find. And then on this last view is just basically all the things that I don't use very often, very seldom, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I just leave them all on the last page. Now, if we go back up here to the first page, if you do want to clean these up and you're not used to this, mine's an iPhone, but what you're going to do is just to press and hold down on it, and then you can actually move it into a folder. And if you move it on top of something that's already there, it will create a new folder for you as well. So here's another one that I think I can get rid of by moving it into the productivity folder here on my second page within the phone. And you can put them in whatever order that you want them as well. I also wanted to show you one more thing here, and this is the Drafts app that I like to use for taking notes. And I've just found it to be really nice to quickly capture thoughts and ideas. You can just add a new draft, start typing something in, or you can use this little microphone here to, capture thoughts while you're out on a walk or something. I've just found it really easy, and you can also type in things to search. So we could type in presents, and I thought I had something stored here with presents, but maybe not. I know that I was looking for books recently, so if I type in books, it'll show everything that I have that has books in it. Oh, and here it is, gift ideas. I guess I called it that instead of presents. So it's just a nice little place, like I said, to store thoughts and ideas.
So let's move over to laptop. So one of the first things you're going to notice here is that I don't have a whole lot sitting on my desktop. There's like very, very few icons here. When I started this cleanup process, it definitely did not look like that. I went into the Apple store because one of these days I really am going to need to get a new laptop. And one of the techs in there told me that I was really bogging down my processing speed by the amount of files that I had on my desktop. And I also had a ton of files on my computer that I was no longer using because I never did do anything with files after I downloaded them. So I decided that I really needed to reduce this before moving a whole bunch of garbage over into a new laptop. So I'm still in the process of cleaning up these files on my laptop, but I am getting much more organized there, and I have freed up a huge amount of storage. And I've renamed things and put them into places where I can more easily find them. And this has been a really big project. So like I said, I'm still working on it. And I've been working on this a little bit at a time. So typically I found that when I'm in the passenger seat traveling with Kurt in the car, that's a great time to be doing this because, if we're on a longer trip, that type of thing, because you really don't have to concentrate much on it. And so if you don't have a plan for how you handle downloads right now, I really highly suggest that you make yourself a plan so that you keep up with them and don't let them pile up like I did. And if you find that you too need to undertake this process, I would just recommend going really big on deleting things. I mean, most of the time information can easily be found again. And so if it isn't something that's critically important to you and you know that you can easily find what you're looking for or information that's similar, help that's similar, if you need it once again, I would say go ahead and delete it. Now, the easiest way that I have found at this point to go through this process of cleaning up my downloads folder, which you will see I still have a ton of stuff in there, but I am in the process of cleaning it up, is I just have two of the Finder windows open. So if you need a new Finder window, you just go up here and you hit File, New Finder Window. And then I have all my folders open on the side, so then I can just open these up, or when I know what they are, then I can just take and like move them over to where I want them to go. Most of my files I do store on the iCloud drive, and I don't have a ton of folders within there. I actually probably could even clean this up a little bit more, but I do like that I can see them all without having to like scroll up or down to get to them. I rely really heavy on my project management system and then also on Google Drive. I don't have a ton of folders there, but one thing that I did find that was super helpful to me, and it's just such a simple thing, I found it a lot more helpful to be able to find things if I put these in alphabetical order, which you can do right over here. You can see like there's that last modified, and I've just got it by the name, which it puts it then in alphabetical order. Same thing in my project management folder, which here again I've got just the icons that I use a lot. And so if I go into Active Collab, which is what I use for project management, you'll see that I have just with the number of folders or projects that I can have like on one page. Don't have to scroll to the next page. Again, these are all in alphabetical order as well. This is not only where I keep business things that I need to do, but I also put like tasks for myself personally in there. And then I put like just things that I want to share or remember knowledge wise. So you can see like there's this pillars and knowledge folder or project here. If we open that up, some of the things that I've just started to add information into because they're things that I'm interested in. So this same methodology of keeping things to like a first page, so limiting the number of folders or the number of projects, goes to other places that I spend time in online as well. So I do a whole lot of work in Canva, which I love, and if you look at my projects in there, you are going to notice the same thing. Like the folders I have is all what's right here. I try to at least once every week, or if not once every couple weeks, go ahead and move the things that I've captured from a knowledge perspective of things that I want to keep. I, just send them to my email, and I can easily copy and paste them into notes in here. So let's take a look at my mail. We'll close down Canva here first. And actually, maybe before we do that, you'll notice that I have very few tabs open here, and that's not just because I was getting ready to show you this today, but it used to be I would have a dozen or more tabs open all the time because that was my way of remembering what I was working on. Well, what I found is, it took me a while to get used to this, but what I found is that I stay a lot more focused and a lot more calm if I keep the number of tabs open to a minimum. Now, this little bit of knowledge here from Gloria Mark that I'd listened to on a Hidden Brain podcast, she had mentioned in that podcast that the reason that changing focus is so detrimental to like wasting time is that we rarely go back to the task right away. Rather, we get interrupted by something else, and it typically takes people 25 minutes to get back to that task. So when you think that you're just going to do a quick check of email, typically that is really not the case. And I think that's the same thing with having a whole bunch of tabs open. I found that when I had a whole bunch of tabs open, I would jump from thing to thing to thing to thing. And when I keep just a few open, I am much more focused on what I decided to work on and don't have as many interruptions. But I use Outlook for the most part. I also use Gmail. But for my work, I use Outlook. And you can see over here, I do have a bunch of folders, which, some of them have subfolders underneath that. But keeping the inbox clean is something that I do try to do. I also use a lot of mail rules. So if you are a Outlook user, I believe you go, I haven't set one up in a while, but I believe you go over here to the settings, and then you can find this rules tab, and you can add new rules. So, things like receipts that get automatically emailed to me, they go directly into a folder, or anything that's repetitive, I try to send it directly into folders. Would love any of your all's ideas on what you do to manage your email, because this is an area that I do really feel like probably could still use some help. So please share with me any tips you might have, and share with our community as well down in the comments. That'd be fantastic. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you have found one or more of the things that I have been doing to do my own little digital detox and declutter my digital space helpful to you as well. And if you like this video, if you wouldn't mind doing me a big favor, because it really does help if you would give it a thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm, helps me be able to share and continue to share things that are working in my life, which is what I try to do here on my channel, because I know it helps me so much when I listen to things that are helpful suggestions for how other people do things too. So that's why I'd love to hear from you too. Anyway, I try to upload a video, pretty much I do it about once a week, and I think that's all. So just have a great week, guys. Bye.